All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. Got to get this in. Check this out. Newsweek, right here on the phone. China military tells Russia, we've come to support you against U.S. I remember a few years ago, and then periodically throughout the years, I've been trying to tell people that if something ever goes on with Russia, that China will be right there to help them. Can you imagine two world superpowers just against the United States alone? I'm going to ask y'all to forgive me for my voice because we've been very, very busy this week, and the festivities has literally been something else. So anyway, let's go ahead and report this, all right? Look what it says. China military leadership has pledged its support to Russia as tensions between Moscow and the West further deteriorate into diplomatic isolation, economic sanctions, and dueling defense drills. Why ain't this stuff reported on mainstream news media? In his first visit to Russia, newly appointed Chinese Defense Minister Wei Feng attended the 7th Moscow International Security Conference accompanied by a delegation of other high-level military officials, emphasizing that his trip was coordinated directly with Chinese President Jinping, what I think is his name. Wei said that he had two major messages for Russia at a time when both nations were attempting to modernize their armed forces and strengthen their hands in global affairs in spite of U.S. fears. I'm visiting Russia as a defense minister of China to show the world a high level of, look at this, deployment of our bilateral relations and firm determination of our armed forces to strengthen strategic cooperations, Wing said. At a meeting, come on, man, stop that mess. See, that's what I don't like about these phones. You're doing something, and all of a sudden, it'll just pop up something. All right. Where is it at? Hold on. We said at a meeting, Russian defense minister, according to the state-run Russian news agency, second to support the Russian side of the organization of Moscow International Security Conference, the Chinese side has come to show Americans the close ties between the armed forces of China and Russia. Especially in this situation, we come to support you, he added. The Chinese side is ready to express with the Russian side our common concerns and common position on important international problems at international venues as well. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart command what's often considered the world's second and third most powerful armed forces, respectively, behind the U.S., while the Pentagon has managed to retain a comfortable lead against its leading competitors. Moscow and Beijing have coordinated closely as they both aim to close the gap and check U.S. influence abroad. Did y'all just hear that? As Russia shows off its military prowess by declaring victory in the Syrian conflict and boosting its military power across Europe, China has invested in international infrastructure projects, especially across Asia and Africa, and expanded its presence in the Pacific. Both countries argued that they are looking to work with and not against the U.S. Now, that is bull crap. That's called politics. But Washington's view their rise with suspicion as taking account. There we go again. But Washington's view their rise with suspicion and has taken countermeasures against perceived challenges to the international order it has traditionally dominated for decades. In addition to boosting its own military power in Europe and Asia, the U.S. has portrayed growing Russia and Chinese influence abroad as an assault on democracy. What democracy? Anyway, don't get me started on that already, okay? The West has singled out Russia, especially accusing it of interfering in the 2016 U.S. president race and other foreign elections. Washington has also charged Moscow with being behind cyber attacks and physical attacks, including the position of ex-Soviet intelligence officer Sergei Skripal, who was arrested for being a double agent for London before being released in 2010, spy swap, and moving to UK. This is the part right here. And the nerve agent attack, which targeted both Skip Raw and his daughter, has led a number of Western countries and their allies to expel more than 100 Russian diplomats and close consuls. Russia has responded in kind, denying responsibility and accusing the UK of denying its access to the investigation. When asked about the global reaction of the case, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesman Jing Shangyang urged that the prevalent parties shall sort out all the facts behind the Skip Raw incident at an early date and probably resolve disputes based on mutual respect and equal-footed consultation. During the regular scheduled press on Tuesday, the international community is challenging with so many fronts on the Cold War mentality, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. That's the most important part. That's the beef part right there, but it's over at newsweek.com. Now, again, whether you like it, comprehend, understand it or not, we can't go around and continue to keep bullying sovereign countries, bombing the living hell out of them, and then putting our puppet masters up in place and think that these countries are just going to continue to keep standing by and allowing this abuse of power to continue to keep playing. So now the U.S. is getting ready to get checked by Chinese and Russia combined together. And we got to ask ourselves, are we literally ready to fight this kind of war on two fronts? That is the question of the day.